Hello, magical people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is megmoonbeam, and today I'm going to be sharing about the upcoming full moon in Scorpio that we've got happening on Monday, May 12th, 2025, our annual full moon in Scorpio, one of the most intense, if not the most intense full moon of the whole year. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and we're going to get into what this full moon means for the whole collective and also each of the 12 sun, moon, and rising signs. So before we get into it, I just want to mention, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you want to get more of my magical content. I put several videos out every week about astrology, mysticism, all kinds of cool stuff. So I really appreciate all of your support and love you all very much. And also, if you'd like to look at my readings, workshops, courses, upcoming retreat that my husband Jens and I are going to be hosting, you can see all of that in the description box of this video, as well as a link to thescorplingshop.com, where my fellow Scorpio best friend and creative partner, Sunny from Pluto, and myself, we have our astrological natural calendars for this year. We have our crystal prescriptions for each of the signs for this year. Go check out the Scorpling Shop in the description box as well. So, oh my goodness, we've got this full moon in Scorpio, which I don't know about you guys, okay, but I have been feeling the energy of this actually for the whole past week. So I'm filming today's video on Thursday, May 8th, 2025. And, you know, it's a very Plutonic energy in the air. Pluto, of course, is the modern day ruling planet of the sign of Scorpio, the sign that we have this full moon in. And, you know, last Sunday, on Sunday, May 4th, Pluto went retrograde. Okay, so we went through a little period where all planets were direct for a few weeks. And now we've got Pluto, ruling planet of Scorpio, the planet of intensity, powers, extreme, the dark side of life, sex, hidden money, hidden influences. Pluto now retrograde until October 13th, 2025. So we're already feeling this kind of little bit of an intense, creepy influence as we come creeping up to this full moon on Monday, May 12th. And I really feel like this one is going to be a doozy. Okay, we're already seeing it play out in the collective. I'm going to mention ways that we're already seeing that play out. And if you are feeling on the personal level as we are within the orb of influence of this full moon, in particular, the 3 days before and after a full moon, so from Friday, May 9th, going until Thursday, May, what's that going to be? 16th, we will be within the influence of this full moon very, very strong, within the full moon portal, if you will. And yeah, it is one of the most intense full moons of the year. You're going to want to see where you have 22 degrees of Scorpio in your personal chart, because whatever house that you have 22 degrees of Scorpio in is going to be the highlighted area of life where, you know, with full moons are about completion, release, cleansing, letting go, also illumination of whatever house the full moon is happening for each of us in. And I am going to go through each of the 12 signs, so don't worry about that. So we'll go through each of the sun, moon, rising signs. I'll give my predictive readings for this full moon. If you have placements between 19 to 25 degrees of Scorpio, then this will be very significant for you. Or if you have placements between 19 to 25 degrees of the fixed signs, this will also be very significant for you. So, you know, it's interesting because full moons are all about letting go, endings, completion, revealing. And that's actually a very similar energy to what the sign of Scorpio is all about. Scorpio rules change, letting go, removal of negativity and toxicity from our lives, and also cleansing as well. So whenever we have our annual full moon in Scorpio, every year we have a full moon in Scorpio, it is one of the most powerful lunation portals for cleansing and release work on the really deep levels. It's also an amazing time to be doing shadow work. I know many of us feel like we've been kind of in this dark night of a soul as a collective for a really long time. And many of us, I've been seeing a lot of you guys saying in the comments, but Meg, I'm done with shadow work. We've already been in a dark night of the soul. Yes, but we have to go through and face the shadows to be able to be in the light. And that's what the sign of Scorpio is all about. It's about not poo-pooing the shadow. It's about recognizing that each of us individually and also as a collective of humanity in the earth all have a shadow side. We live in a realm of duality. Not everything is just light and love and fairy cakes and rainbows coming out of our butt, okay? There's some pretty dark aspects to living in duality, and all those dark aspects, the sign Scorpio rules. So it can be a little scary. And the moon is at her fall position in Scorpio. So it can feel uncomfortable when we have a full moon in Scorpio. Like, you know, the moon is about emotional safety and nourishment and self-care and feeling good. You know, the moon is ruled by rules the sign of Cancer and is exalted in Taurus. So it loves comfort. It loves feeling good. And Scorpio is about death and intensity and extremes. So the moon is at fall in Scorpio. So it can feel like a tension point. It's normal if this full moon portal feels really uncomfortable for you. Okay, you're not going crazy. It's because the moon is at fall. Scorpio rules themes of power, death, rebirth, transformation, some very intense things, you guys. Negativity, our fears can be coming up to the surface. Toxicity, extremes, change, secrets, the hidden and mysterious side of life, deceased loved ones, our psychic abilities, in particular mediumship, which is to connect to dead people on the other side, and also spiritual psychotherapy. Scorpio is the sign that rules psychology, psychotherapy, to be psychoanalytical. So we can also have very profound, not just psychic phenomena, paranormal phenomena come up around the full moon in Scorpio, but also psychological insights and developments as well. So this is a very powerful full moon for us, as I said, to be doing cleansing and release work on really deep levels, shadow work, personal empowerment, psychic development, deep research into a subject. And also I'm feeling intuitively very, very strong. Sorry, you guys, I have to cough because I just got over a cold. Just don't mind me for one moment. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. I lost my voice a week and a half ago, so I'm just getting back in the groove. I'm also feeling very strongly intuitively with this full moon that it's about letting go of control issues, okay? One of the shadow side, and I am a Scorpio, so shout out to all my fellow Scorpios. I'm Scorpio astrologer, so I can share very honestly about the sign of Scorpio from my personal experience. One of Scorpio's shadow side attributes, and there's many attributes shadow side to Scorpio since it is the sign that rules the shadow, is control issues. And it's interesting that this full moon is going to be at 22 degrees, which is a Capricorn degree. Okay. Scorpio and Capricorn are two of the signs in astrology that in their shadow side have to do with major control issues and the highest positions of power, along with the sign of Leo. Leo, Scorpio, and Capricorn are about the highest positions of power, where the shadow side of that is control, okay? So I feel really intuitively, strongly to, invite you guys to reflect on where are we being a little bit of a control freak in our personal lives? If we are, and maybe you're not, but I feel like that's a very big theme for many of us right now. Where are we trying to control a situation or control an outcome? Okay. Scorpio is about, yes, control in its shadow side, but in the light aspect, letting go of control and the ultimate surrender to healing, the ultimate surrender to stepping out of the shadow into the light. Spirituality is what saves a Scorpio. Spirituality is what will save us during this full moon in Scorpio. Prayer, meditation, connecting to our higher selves. And You know, when we truly connect spiritually, and I know there's many different ways and practices of doing that, but when you really step into your heart, when you really feel the spiritual experience of oneness and bliss, you pretty soon realize that we as our human selves, which is just one aspect of ourselves in this dualistic realm, we are not in control, right? We are souls having this human experience where we are not in control. So to try to be controlling about something, and see where you have 22 degrees of Scorpio in your personal chart, because this can be showing you an area where maybe we're trying to be too controlling in a situation. That is not good. And that is something that is in alignment for us to be letting go of in our lives. And also, as I'm posing that question to you guys, you know, is there an area where we're maybe being a little bit of a control freak? Is there something that right away pops up in your mind when I say that? That's important for you to listen to. Okay. We want to pay attention to control issues. It's interesting because we've got two dispositors to this full moon. Pluto, the modern day ruler of Scorpio, and also Mars, the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Thank goodness. Okay, thank God. At the time of this full moon, Pluto and Mars are now out of being within a very strong opposition. Okay, so we've been going through on and off since fall of 2024, 3 in a row Mars-Pluto exact oppositions. We just had the third one on April 26th. Mars and Pluto are now out of a 5-degree orb of strong influence of an opposition. So thank goodness, okay, even though there are some intense things with this full moon that I am going to share, it is Scorpio after all. Thank goodness, Mars and Pluto, the two rulers of Scorpio, yes, they're still in a light opposition, but it's no longer strong, okay? So Mars and Pluto, they're a little bit stressed out from our Earth's perspective because they've been in this opposition with each other. They are two malefic planets, and they have really been highlighting power struggles in the collective. We've been seeing that with many different world leaders, many different collective situations. And also in our personal lives, there may have been a big theme of power struggles since fall of 2024. Thank goodness Mars and Pluto are no longer in a strong opposition at the time of this full moon. Thank goodness Mars is out of his fall position of Cancer, now in Leo, where he way more loves to be. And Mars is in a very strong trine to Venus, okay? Mars, the planet of the divine masculine, in trine to Venus, who, yes, she's at her detriment position in Aries right now, but Venus, the goddess of love and the divine feminine. So there's a balance going on. There's an equilibrium going on between Venus, the feminine, and Mars, the masculine. Through the healing portal of this full moon, we can find that there's a theme of balance coming up between our feminine and our masculine sides as well. This is also very good for relationships. Venus trine Mars, there's more passion being brought into our relationships, our love life, our work commitments, our work, our confidence in our income as well. So that's a really nice aspect that we've got Venus in trine to Mars with one of the dispositors at the time of this full moon. That's very, very supportive. Now, when it comes to Pluto, the other dispositor, of Scorpio, Pluto just went retrograde on May 4th. And as I said, will be retrograde on October 13th. And this is our first Pluto retrograde with Pluto only in the sign of Aquarius retrograde since the 1700s. So we're now officially in the full-on Pluto and Aquarius transit as of the end of 2024. And, you know, I feel like this is going to be a very powerful Pluto retrograde because Aquarius, the sign Aquarius, is all about freedom and humanity and higher truths, higher consciousness, higher perspectives, the systems of life, the markets, weirdness, technology. There's many different things Aquarius rules. And Pluto is going to be exposing and revealing secrets that need to come to the surface about all those areas. So those can be themes during this full moon as well. And Pluto retrograde, which, by the way, we can feel a planet's influence even stronger when it is retrograde because it's closer to the Earth. Pluto is in a square, exact square to Mercury at the time of this full moon. So this is an adverse, uncomfortable aspect where Pluto in square to Mercury is revealing deep and possibly uncomfortable truths for all of us as a collective. And we're seeing that, we're seeing as we're leading up to this full moon. As I said, I'm filming this on May 8th. We're having the P. Diddy trial has just started. Opening statements will actually be on the full moon in Scorpio on Monday, May 12th, which is going to expose a lot about the entertainment industry. We just had James O'Keefe from OMG Media expose a bombshell world exclusive story last night on the evening of May 7th about Prince Andrew. If you guys haven't seen that, go check that out. He got on tape one of Prince Andrew's closest confidants saying that basically Prince Andrew did have sex with underage girls. So that is something that many of us in kind of the conspiracy community, if you're a fellow conspiracy theorist like me, the alternative community, we already knew that. But it is a big deal because there's actual tape footage of now one of Prince Andrew's close confidants literally saying that on video, which I have seen some of you guys in the comments on X saying, oh, we already knew that. That's not that big of a deal. No, it is a big deal because it's actual evidence that someone close to Prince Andrew is saying that he did have sex with underage girls and it was tied to Epstein. That is going to, in turn, wake up a lot of people because there's some people out there that they're just not natural, like researchers. They don't like to go down rabbit holes like many of us in the alternative community do. So to them, a video like that is a really big deal and is actually going to help further wake a lot of people up. Interesting that P. Diddy is a Scorpio. Pam Bondi is a Scorpio as well. And there's some drama circulating around Pam Bondi. Alex Jones the other day was insinuating that he has intel that one of James O'Keefe's next bombshell stories, which James O'Keefe said there's 3 in a row that he's about to release. Alex Jones says he has intel that one of them is tied to Pam Bondi and how she may be covering up for Jeffrey Epstein. So we'll see about that. She's, of course, for those of you who don't know, the Attorney General of the United States at the moment. Pam Bondi is also a Scorpio, 25-degree Scorpio. So this full moon is right on her sun, exposing her. So we'll see about that. So lots of uncomfortable secrets and truths coming to the surface about the entertainment industry. Mars is in Leo, right? Leo rules the entertainment industry, Mars, the dispositor of Scorpio. Also, this full moon is at 22 degrees, as I said, which is a Capricorn degree, highlighting politicians, governments, people in governmental positions, like Pam Bondi. Also the royal family, Leo, Mars and Leo. So I think there's going to be a lot revealed with this full moon in Scorpio. It's going to be a drama show. Scorpio is one of those signs that can rule things being a drama show and quite dramatic as well. Also, I think the European Union is going to be very highlighted, and there will be some major drama, possible upset for Europe or the European Union, as the EU's chart has a Mars-Pluto conjunction at 24 degrees of Scorpio, 2 degrees within orb exact of this full moon. Also, the moon of the European Union, which represents the people, is at 24 degrees of Taurus in a direct opposition to this full moon at 22 degrees of Scorpio. Also, with the Pluto in square to Mercury aspect, this can be intense, possible dramatic, conflictual, power struggle conversations, right? Mercury's conversations with loved ones, people in our day-to-day lives. Mercury rules siblings, friends, neighbors. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, you guys, there could be more of a propensity with this full moon of us having some very heated conversations, which, there's nothing wrong with that if we need to have a conversation, but there can just be more of a propensity for like blow-ups or people saying things that can be very plutonic that they maybe don't really totally mean, but it just comes out in the moment. So just watch for conversations coming up where you're putting your energy that way. Also, when it comes to back to this 22 degrees, the degree of this full moon, 22 degrees, as I said, Capricorn degree, and in Nicola Stojanovich's degree theory, he calls it the to kill or be killed degree. So many people that have been assassinated or killed have 22 degrees in their personal astrology charts. You guys, if you have that, don't get freaked out. I have actually multiple things at 22 degrees. So I'm doing astrological remedies on a daily basis for that, which might sound crazy, but I am a professional astrologer. And it is true. Many people that get killed have 22 degrees. So that has to do with death. Scorpio has to do with death. We may see with this full moon a death or exposure of a major political figure, which we're already seeing that, but I think we'll continue to see even more shocking developments with that as well. We've also just had in the lead up to this full moon in Scorpio, Virginia Giuffre. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. She is a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein, and she says Prince Andrew as well. She committed suicide the other week. Was it last week or the week before? Many saying that maybe she was assassinated. So I think we could be seeing some intel coming up on that as well. And the last major aspect piece that I'll share with this, actually two more with this full moon, Uranus is conjunct the sun, okay, within a 4-degree orb. Uranus is shock, surprises, instability. So I think there is going to be very shocking events and information being revealed, in particular on the actual day of the full moon, which is Monday, May 12th, and of course, the days surrounding that as well. And it can feel unstable, okay, you guys, but when things are unstable, when things are weird, when things are shocking, this actually helps to shift the energy to get us out of stagnation. Okay, so yes, on the challenging hand, it can be dramatic and very uncomfortable, but in the positive side, it is helping us get out of stagnation, move forward into the future. So I like that about this full moon. Again, I think this is an amazing portal of release, doing deep shadow work, emotional cleansing and healing. We've got Jupiter in sextile to Chiron at the time of this full moon, almost exact, only 1 degree off. Chiron is the wounded healer that represents our healing journey. Jupiter, the great benefic, is very positive, supportive, lucky. So I think there's amazing healing breakthroughs that we can have at the time of this full moon if we make the time to stop, rest, pay attention to what's potentially toxic or negative in our lives that may be in need to be released, where we're perhaps giving our power away, where we've given our power away and can reclaim that. Remember, Scorpio also rules power as well. So highly transformational full moon, you guys. Let's pull some cards and then we'll get into each of the 12 sign readings for this full moon. I'm so sorry, you guys, that I'm coughing. Okay, so cards, we've got 3 for the collective. First, we've got the Page of Cups. Then we've also got the 4 of Wands. And this is my Halloween tarot deck that my soul sister MJ gifted to me. Thank you, MJ. I love you. And the Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, so this is interesting because the Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands reversed both have to deal with, intense emotions, feelings, vulnerabilities. So I feel like, the tarot is saying we are going to be feeling highly sensitive at the time of this full moon. You are not going crazy if you're feeling sensitive. Pay attention to your sensitivities and the emotions that are coming up. And this is a very good time, very supportive lunation to be doing emotional healing work. With the 4 of Wands, this is I just dropped it. This is a very profound card that is all about celebration, parties, victory, being victorious, enjoying life, having fun. I feel Spirit say, let yourself feel the emotions that are coming up, release what needs to be released, and you will be victorious and be able to create more stability in your life. So I'm hearing Spirit say, not everything can be go, 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 move ahead all the time. Sometimes we need to do real deal healing work where we're like on the floor, crying, looking like a mess, having that moment. That is Scorpio. It is the surrender to what's really going on. It's facing what's really going on in our lives. What is an issue? What is something negative? And going through the release process of that. So that might not sound like so much fun to many of you guys out there. I know we've been in particularly the past 5 years of a lot of shadow work and intensity, but I'm getting very strongly intuitively that for many of us, there may be unresolved grief, possibly even guilt, shame. Interesting. I'm getting intuitively like all these heavy emotions that Spirit's saying all you have to do is just sit in this full moon, be in reflection, and see what comes up. Maybe you're someone where you're like, Meg sounds crazy. I'm not having any really intense feelings coming to the surface. Okay, great. That's awesome. But for most of us, I think if you actually sit in the present moment, in silence, in reflection, maybe light a candle, get into a meditative state, take a salt bath, don't have any distractions, you will notice some possibly heavy emotions coming up that need to be released at this time. And there's a theme also I'm feeling with this full moon intuitively of certain dreams that we had or hopes that we had or wishes that never got fulfilled. And there may be grief, there may be pain around that. Scorpio in particular is like the extremes of jealousy, betrayal, grief, depression, sadness. It's very heavy emotions on the shadow side. It can also be bliss and transcendence, on the higher side. But I feel like since it's a full moon, it's highlighting more of those areas that can be heavy that we need to let go. I just really invite you guys to take the time to be in your emotions, let yourself emotionally feel and heal. There can also be very big psychic phenomena and experiences that come up. This is a very powerful full moon to do divination work, psychic development. Don't be surprised, okay, with that Queen of Wands upright, she's usually very confident and powerful, in her power. But when she is, sorry, you guys, this is not properly, there we go. Reverse, this can be about betrayal. This can be about places that we've given our power away. So those can possibly be coming up as themes if you do personal healing work. And if you're someone that's like, totally feeling uncomfortable with maybe facing something on your own through meditation, through taking a salt bath, through maybe doing some mirror work, looking at yourself in the mirror, different forms of shadow work. Scorpio also rules, real deal healers, shamans, astrologers, tarot readers, psychotherapists, therapists. This is a great full moon to be doing really great real deal therapeutic practices and modalities. So I highly recommend that. And yeah, but I love that we've got this Four of Wands because that's saying, we are going to get through the heaviness of what's coming up during this full moon that needs to come up to the surface. And there is celebration on the other side of it. So very happy to hear about that. And now let's get into our readings for each of the 12 signs. Just give me a moment here, you guys, to change the chart. Where's my mouse? Okay, here it is. And I've been doing a different thing lately where, for the longest time, I would start with our Aries and we would do the usual Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, so on and so forth. But I've been switching it up. So last video we started with the Pisces and we went backwards. So in today's video, we're going to start again with the Aries. But I think that's something that I am going to start doing now is going back and forth when we do the forecast videos. I'm not always going to start with Aries anymore. We'll kind of do a switch, every other one starting with Pisces, to be fair for our Pisces and Aquarians and Capricorns, the later signs that have been so patient up until this point. Okay, so here we have the chart of This full moon for our Aries. Okay, so Aries, 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 let me know what's going on. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments if you feel like it. Hope you are all doing well. Aries, you are having this full moon in Scorpio happen in your 8th house, okay, which is the 8th house of Scorpio. So this is a very powerful lunation. Whenever we have our annual full moon in Scorpio, this is very powerful portal for you to be doing cleansing, release work, psychic development, deep research, looking at your finances, your shared resources with partners or other peoples. It can feel intense. Full moons and Scorpios for Aries can feel very, very intense. I do like that we've got your ruler Mars in Leo, in your 5th house, and in a beautiful trine to Venus. So even though it's a full moon in your 8th house, you could actually be feeling very creatively inspired, romantic, confident, okay? And it's interesting because Aries, you guys are the sister sign to Scorpios, because you, Aries and Scorpios, are both traditionally ruled by Mars. So your ruler is also the dispositor of this full moon, ruler of Scorpio. So I like our placement of Mars in the 5th house. I think that, again, this is an amazing time for you to be doing healing and release work. Even good for some sexy time, okay? Full moon in the 8th house of sex with your ruler Mars in the 5th house, which is the other house that can rule sex. I think there can be some very big breakthroughs in your intimacy, your relationship, your resources merging with others, and healing breakthroughs on deep levels. Okay, and I've also pulled a tarot card for each of the signs. And for the Aries, we've got the World reversed. Okay, now when we've got the World upright, this is like a very positive card of success and everything's perfect and everything's come to fruition. Okay, with the World reversed, this is inviting you, Aries, to take time to stop and do some inner work and healing. It's perfect. You have this full moon in your 8th house. Don't force things right now. You're being divinely supported. There may have been a failure recently that I'm feeling very strongly is actually God's protection. Okay. So I feel like you guys are on the right path, but be in patience. Don't force anything right now. And it's okay if there was something recently that was a failure. There's nothing wrong with you. That was actually God's protection. So feeling that very strongly for you. Thank you, Aries, for joining me. And next we're going to move to our Tauruses, Taurus sun, moon, risings. And I invite you guys to listen to your rising signs first and foremost, then your sun signs. And you can also listen to your moon signs for more personal psychological interpretations. Okay. So Taurus, 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 you are having this full moon in Scorpio in your 7th house, the house of the Libra ruled areas of life. So this is highlighting your relationships, your love life, your committed relationships, in work, people that you're partnered with in work, or people that do something for you in a committed way, right? Therapists, lawyers, people that we pay to do work for us. That can be Libra as well. 7th house is also our aesthetic and our style and beauty in life. Taurus, I actually like this full moon for you. Okay. Yes, there can be some intense things coming up in your committed relationship and your love life, but I think there can actually be some really big healing breakthroughs coming up for you, even though Scorpio is very intense and it can be endings and death and rebirth. Your ruler, Venus, is in beautiful trine to Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, one of the dispositors of this full moon. So through intense situations and relationships, I see you guys actually getting closer to people in your lives that serve you to be in relationships with. There could be some things, some people falling away, okay, that don't serve you anymore. So be honest about who you're surrounding yourself with. But this is actually very empowering in kind of a more effortless way for you, Taurus, compared to a lot of the other signs. So I'm very happy to report that to you. Also, because the 7th house can be our style and aesthetic, this is a good full moon to maybe go through your wardrobe, go through your makeup. If you're a woman, go through the things that you've been adorning and stylizing yourself with, and let go of what you're complete with. Bring in some new colors, bring in some new styles. You know, it does really matter how we present ourselves to the world. And the tarot card that we've got for our Tauruses for this full moon is the Knight of Swords, okay? So the Knight of Swords is all about fast moving action. Act now, think later, move boldly ahead, be fearless. It's also swords, so it can have to do with good ideas, take actions on your ideas. And it's a sign of, a card rather of confidence. So I'm feeling like there's breakthroughs, positive energy moving forward in your relationships. Maybe you're coming up with a good idea, something inspirational in a relationship or with a loved one. So if you're having ideas about something with a loved one, move ahead fearlessly on that. It is looking really good. So Tauruses, thank you for joining me and wishing you a very, very happy full moon. Okay, next we go to our Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Gemini, you are having this full moon in Scorpio in your 6th house. Okay, this is the house of health and our day-to-day work, our day-to-day routines, pets, our coworkers, our office space. It's all things having to do with health, routines, and day-to-day work as well. Gemini's amazing full moon for you to be doing some physical detoxing and cleansing. There may be something coming to the surface. Remember, Scorpio is secrets, hidden information coming to the surface regarding something health related, regarding your work as well. So maybe intense situations in your work or your health. But I feel like, you know, you guys are very smart Geminis. And with Mercury in your 12th house, your ruler in your 12th house, I'm so sorry, you guys, excuse me, in square to Pluto, the dispositor of this full moon. Again, similar to what I just said for the Taurus and the Aries, and it's kind of a theme for all the signs, there can be very big healing breakthroughs for you with your physical health. So if there's anything physically that you've been dealing with as an issue as of late, Geminis, this is a full moon to definitely, it's an alignment for you to put your energy towards that. Maybe go see a naturopath, maybe go start a new cleanse. I am not a medical expert, you guys, but just saying with the medical astrology, this is fantastic for you to be taking care of your health, taking a salt bath, trying maybe a new different modality. Remember, Uranus is conjunct the sun at the time of this full moon. So trying new things, doing things in a different way, health-wise or work-wise, can be very, very good, okay? And the card that we've got for you for this full moon is the 8 of Pentacles reversed, okay? And this is interesting because this actually is a Virgo card in the tarot. And the 8 of Pentacles reversed, it can have to do with we're not taking care of a situation, carelessness, possibly being unfocused. So let me know how you Geminis are doing, but I feel like maybe many of you haven't been doing proper self-care when it comes to your physical health or your day-to-day routines. So the 8 of Pentacles reverse coming up is saying, you know, your health is your wealth. Your health is number one. Geminis, you're very multi-talented. You're very smart. You have a lot to share with this world. But unless you're physically taking care of yourself and feeling optimal and at your best, you can't go do all those, you know, amazing talents that you've got to share with the world. So if this was upright, this was like, yeah, your hard work is being paid off. Yeah, you're totally on the right track. But with this being a Pentacle cards reversed, definitely more focus is needed on your body and also the day-to-day work that you're doing, okay? It is a Pentacles card. So is the hard work that you're doing, does that even align with your values at this point? Are you ready to release a career? Is there a work situation that's been feeling toxic for you? So important for you to be honest about that with yourself at the time of this full moon. So hope that resonated with you. Sending lots of cosmic love your way. And now we're going to move to our Cancers. Cancies. Okay, Cancers, you are having this full moon in Scorpio in your 5th house, in your fun house of fun and romance and sex and the inner child. So very creative full moon for our Cancers. A full moon where, okay, 5th house, Leo and Scorpio, these are 2 signs that rule with drama. So there can possibly be a theme of things feeling dramatic for you at the time of this full moon, but also you can be transmuting that into fun. Okay, 5th house can deal with potential romantic suitors, affairs, love. But the difference between the 5th house and the 7th house is the 7th house is committed relationships that will last into the long term. And 5th house is kind of relationships or suitors or sexual affairs that will not last to the long term. So for many Cancers, there's a theme of maybe realizing that someone you've been dating or having sexual relations with or spending time with romantically, it's not going to last. You guys aren't totally on the same page. There may be a release going on there. Okay, we've also got the 2 dispositors of this full moon, Pluto and Mars, in your financial houses in a light opposition. Interesting that the 5th house rules risky investments, okay? So if you're a Cancer that's been doing some investing and maybe you've been being overly risky, that can be coming up, highlighted at the time of this full moon. It's very important during these times where I know there's so many different changes going on in the world. Being really mindful that whatever you're invested in actually has value in a way that is grounded. So be very mindful, Cancer, in your romantic partners at this time, with your investments at this time. And you guys, with the full moon in Scorpio, it's highlighting our shadow side. It's highlighting kind of uncomfortable truths or parts of ourselves that we maybe haven't been wanting to deal with. Full moon in your 5th house also is really good for doing inner child healing work. You may be having dreams or remembering secrets or secrets coming to the light regarding your childhood or children that are around you. That can be a theme as well. Releasing, heavy emotions in creative ways can also be very good for you at this full moon. And we got lots of reversed cards for many of the signs. Okay, so for our Cancies, we've got the 2 of Wands reversed. 2 of Wands reverse is about things not going to plan, revisiting the plans that you have, us being possibly unrealistic at the present moment, possible procrastination, and personal power feeling deflated. Okay, that's interesting because when we've got the 2 of Wands upright, and I love these Halloween cards, it's like a werewolf. Ow! He's like feeling confident. He's looking out at the world. He's ready to take on his plans. When it's reversed, it's maybe our plans haven't gone to plan. Okay, there may be some upset to that. That has been a theme for a lot of the signs, I feel like, with this full moon. Time during this full moon in Scorpio to creatively revisit your plans and be honest with yourself if you've been unrealistic about something with finances, investments, your creative projects. Have you been procrastinating? Why have you been procrastinating? Okay, is there a limiting belief? Do you feel like you're in your personal empowerment? Those are some things to ask yourselves at the time of this full moon. And I love you, Cancers, very, very much. Hope what I said resonated. And now we move on to our Leos. Oh my God, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm using a new recording program and I don't know how to pause if I need to cough. So I'm so sorry that you guys are hearing me cough. That is so gross. And I'm taking a sip of water. Usually I'll pause and take this out, but you know what? It's Scorpio. This is what Scorpio is all about. Scorpio is about the realness, okay? The raw, like uncomfortable, sometimes embarrassing realness of life. So, right, the realness for me right now is I'm just coming out of this head cold. My voice is a little bit still messed up, but I'm still going to come at you guys, share the astrology. I'm not going to let that hold me back. I'm not feeling bad. It's just like all this guck coming up to the surface. So sorry about that, you guys. Okay, so for our Leos, you are going to be having this full moon in Scorpio in your fourth house, okay? And the fourth house is Cancer ruled areas of life. It's highlighting our home, our family, property, real estate rather. It's the house of our emotions, okay? And the moon is at fall in Scorpio. Your ruler, Leos. What am I talking about? I thought I was talking to the Cancers for a second. Leos. The moon is at fall in Cancer, okay? In Scorpio, rather. So the moon doesn't like to be there. It's uncomfortable, even though it's really good for release and shadow work for the collective. So Leos, you can be having some really intense feelings and emotions coming to the surface, possibly even nightmares, really intense, vivid dreams. Okay, the shadow work is coming out through your emotions, through your home, through your family, through your dreams, through your sleep. Okay, I really love this full moon to be paying attention to your family. There could be some very profound secrets and truths being revealed there that can lead to some healing breakthroughs. There may be some truths being exposed about where you live. Okay, do you actually feel good where you live, or is there a move that needs to take place? There could be information secrets coming out about your ancestors as well, women in your life. The fourth house can be related to women. And this full moon can feel particularly shocking and weird and have surprises to it for you because your ruler, the sun, is in a light conjunction to Uranus. So it is good for you with this full moon to be doing things in a different, weird way, to be open to the strange and unusual, as that character, what's that character in Beetlejuice? Winona Ryder. I forget what her character is, but she says, I am strange and unusual. So it's good for you, Leos, to be open to the strange and unusual, maybe different ways of doing things in family or having to do with your home or how you process heavy or negative emotions coming up. Okay, and it is good for you to be spending time close to home. I think I already said cleaning out the home, maybe doing some feng shui. And the card that we've got for our Leos this full moon in Scorpio is the Three of Swords reversed. Why isn't that closing up? Oh my God, I'm going to have to fix my frickin' camera. I'm so sorry, you guys. There we go. Three of Swords reversed. So another reverse card. You know, the Three of Swords reversed is actually good because upright, this has to do with betrayal and being heartbroken. Okay. So Leos, maybe recently there was some sort of betrayal or situation where your heart felt broken. Something very intense emotionally came up for you. This Three of Swords reverse is actually good. It's saying this is a release. This is a time of forgiveness, recovery. You're in recovery, letting go of betrayal and hurtful words being released, and you're stepping into more of a time of optimism. Okay. So I like this. With this full moon in the fourth house, it can be emotionally intense, but with the Three of Swords, you are releasing betrayal and heavy emotions and feelings that you don't need to be holding on to anymore. So love you, Leos. Hope that resonated. And now we're going to move on to our Virgos. Okay. Virgos. You guys are having this full moon in your third astrological house. This is the house of communication and our mind and our local community, short distance travel. The third house actually rules a lot of things because it's our day-to-day life and activity. So I could talk for 5 minutes. The third house is this and the third house is that and the third house is this. It rules a lot of shit. Okay. But what I'm feeling intuitively for you guys, the most Virgos, is the theme around your mind and your communication. There can be very healing conversations of release at the time of this full moon. So if you've been wanting to have a real deal conversation with someone or a group of people, this is a really good full moon to be doing that, even though your ruler Mercury is in square to Pluto. Can be intense. Conversations can be heated and a bit dramatic, but it feels like, and as I'm saying that to you guys, I'm really feeling my throat. Actually, I feel many Virgos have something to say to a loved one that maybe you've been holding back. Perhaps there's been something really bothering you that you need to let out, or maybe there's a secret about yourself that you're scared to say, but it would actually be very healthy for you to get it out. The third house is also the mind. Okay, and Virgos, you are ruled by Mercury, which is the planet that has to do the mind. You can be more prone to worry, self-criticism, some of these negative thought patterns that can be tied to Scorpio. So this would be a really good full moon in terms of healing work for you to look at your limiting beliefs and thoughts. I invite you guys to look at that. I love that we've got the South Node in your sign of Virgo in a sextile to this full moon. So this is very supportive for your healing journey and letting go of things in the mind or in your communication or having to do with friends or your local community that doesn't serve you anymore. Okay, so very powerful for the Virgos, very powerful for all the signs actually. And for our Virgos, your tarot card for this full moon is the Star reversed. And I love these Halloween cards. This is the Star upright, Frankenstein's bride, and reversed. Okay. So the Star reversed, this is about unfulfilled hopes, disappointment, doubt, emotional clearing, and shadow thoughts coming to the surface. So maybe there's something disappointing that somebody has done to you recently. It's good for you, again, to communicate whatever is unfulfilled. Maybe you're embarrassed or ashamed to talk about, but it's good for you to be talking things out at the time of this full moon. And I keep feeling intuitively for all of us, for you, Virgo, and for all of us, that anything that hasn't worked out up until this point, it wasn't meant to be. Okay. And I know that that's way easier to say than to experience, but I am feeling that so strong with this full moon for all of us. If something was meant to be, okay, if something was meant to be a dream fulfilled, it would have already happened. Okay. So if you've been wanting something for a long time and it just hasn't been working out effortlessly, let it go. There's new dreams. There's new dreams. There's new fulfillments, right? So you're on the right track, Virgo, but there's some doubt to let go of. There's some possible even disappointment to let go of as well. So love you guys. Happy full moon. And next we're going to move on to our Libras. Okay, Libras, you are having this full moon in Scorpio in your second astrological house. Okay, so this is the house of our values, our income, our finances, material resources, also our self-worth, our self-esteem, food, pleasure, and beauty in life. And you've got Scorpio there. So this can be a really good full moon to be doing release and clearing work having to do with your self-worth. Do you not feel worthy? Do you not feel of value? Okay. Are you not having an income that's resonating with you at the moment, right? Do you want to release self-limiting energy or thoughts or patterns having to do with abundance? These are all themes that can be coming up for you at this full moon. Also, Scorpio is our resources with another person. Okay, there could be something ending with another person, maybe a relationship ending with another person, a work situation ending with another person. I do like that we've got your ruler, Venus, in her home house of the seventh house. Even though she is a detriment in Aries, she's in a beautiful trine to Mars. So there may be some intensity or challenges coming up in your love or work relationships, but it's actually turning things around into a positive way. I think there's positive new inspiration that can be coming through for you and partners having to do with income and work. At this full moon, there can be intense conversations that you're having as well, but I feel like you're letting go of something big and there's something very positive around the corner for you, your love life, your work life as well. And for our lovely Libras, the tarot card that we have is the Ace of Cups. Let me see if I can get that in there. Yeah, we've got the Ace of Cups. And this is a beautiful card. This is a card about opening your heart, receiving love, unconditional love, new relationships, beauty, bliss, rejuvenation, self-love. So Venus, I was going to call you guys Venus. Libras, this is a very positive card where I feel like by you letting go of unworthiness, okay, or lack of self-love, that is going to bring in love. Maybe you've already been doing this work. This is saying positive, very positive development in your relationships, your love life, your personal feelings, feeling happy. So this full moon, maybe you guys are actually feeling quite good. You can be feeling happy and fulfilled, beautiful breakthroughs in your relationship. So this is emotional fulfillment. This is awesome. So let me know, Libras, what's going on with you guys. And I'm sending lots of love your way. Next, we move to our Scorpios, my fellow crazy Scorpios. Okay. Scorpios, this is our annual full moon in our sign. Okay. And we've got our modern day ruler Pluto right on, in conjunction with our IC, right in our fourth house, in an exact square to Mercury. Okay, so that's freaking intense. And we just had Pluto go retrograde. So Scorpio, I've been hearing every Scorpio I know saying they are feeling intense. They are feeling a little bit off. They're having very intense things coming up in life. Yeah, Scorpio, we are going through huge emotional cleansing and release with Pluto retrograde now in our fourth house. Some very uncomfortable things, secrets, patterns being revealed having to do our home, with the past, with our family can be coming up. But I love that we've got Mars, our traditional ruler, in trine to Venus, the benefic, at the time of this full moon. So, and I know I keep saying this to the Scorpios, but I will keep repeating myself. Do your healing work. Do your self-development, because there are intense things coming up to the surface for us. We feel things extremely intensely, okay? And we are feeling possibly very emotionally volatile, maybe a little bit weird and all over the place. Feel into that. Heal through that. Ask for professional help if you need to, okay? And you will feel better after that. Spirit is saying, Scorpio, you will feel better after you express to someone that you trust, maybe even in a professional setting like a therapist or a healer, what the heck is going on with you, okay? Let your secrets come out. The secrets need to come out for you to feel better. You need to forgive yourself to feel better. Okay. Mars in the 10th, Pluto in the 4th, you can be feeling this opposition of, I want to be out and working and successful, but privately and emotionally, you can possibly be feeling like shit or really intense. So we have to have that foundation. We have to have a healthy emotional life and way of processing our intense emotions and letting those go, and a healthy home life, feeling good in our home, to be able to be successful out in the world and be in the public and accomplish our long-term goals. You can't not have the foundation. Okay, so some Scorpios, you may be sick of me saying that over and over to you guys like the past couple of weeks, but that's what I'm getting to you for you, my fellow Scorpios, very, very strongly. Take care of yourselves out there. And our tarot card for the Scorpios is the 9 of Pentacles reversed. Another reversed. So reversed, she can be about frivolity, overdependence on others without doing the work, not having the true home or income stream that you want, issues with inheritance and money and wealth, not feeling comfortable. Okay, that's the main thing I feel like with this card reverse is like Scorpios are not feeling comfortable right now, and you're not supposed to be feeling comfortable because we're going through such big transformation. So surrender to the discomfort that is coming up, okay? And that will help us step into better forms of comfort, wealth, abundance, our dreams coming to fruition. Embrace the uncomfort. Embrace that some things didn't work out as we thought they would to plan. okay? And be very mindful of not going into escapism and get grounded. Like spend time out under the full moon, spend time out in nature. That will help us. So Scorpios, I hope what I said makes sense. Please let me know how you're doing in the comments. I'm sending lots and lots of love your way, and have a happy full moon in Scorpio. Empowerment can come through facing your shadow and doing the work on yourself and moving forward and taking ownership of that. So I love you, I love you, I love you. Now we're going to move on to our Saggies. Okay, Saggies. What's up, Saggies? You're going to be having this full moon in Scorpio in your 12th house. Okay, so this is very spiritual. This is very magical and mysterious and paranormal. Okay, the 12th house is Pisces, which is the spirit realm, the creative realm, our dream realm, and fellow water sign Scorpio, excuse me, is also about creativity, is also about the other side and the other realms. So Saggies, pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities and the magic of life, because you can be having a lot of spiritual phenomena, maybe even paranormal experiences with this full moon. Pay attention to your dreams. Some of you may be dreaming of deceased loved ones, people from the other side, dreaming that you're on the other side. This is a full moon in terms of healing work where you can be releasing really deep-seated karmic or addictive issues. The 12th house can have to do with addictions or issues on the karmic unconscious level. So, it's a theme for all the signs to be doing release work with this full moon in Scorpio, but for you, Saggies in particular, you can get to some nice, really deep levels of release with this full moon. Spiritual cleansing, energy healing. This is awesome. That's all Pisces. Sound healing. We've got your ruler Jupiter in square to the nodes. Okay, so we're going to have Jupiter square the nodes coming up. And, it's within a 2-degree orb. So you can be really noticing, with Jupiter in square to the south node, what needs to be released in your day-to-day work, in your day-to-day routines, in your health. Also with Jupiter in square to the north node, what's been holding you back from being in your higher self, from being in the spiritual vibrations. Okay, so this is very potent for you guys. Let me know, Saggies, how you're feeling. Very magical. I'm loving the energy of this for you. And the tarot card that we've got for our Saggies for this full moon, really cool card. One of my favorite cards, the 8 of Cups, upright, walking away from the past, leaving it all behind, feeling raw, change, transition, and journeys. So it's really interesting because Saggies, you rule foreign travel, you rule journeys. Okay, 8 of Cups can be a journey, and the 12th house where you have this full moon is far away distance travel. So some of you might actually be on a journey, but I feel like even though this can be a travel card, I feel like it's not necessarily about travel. It's about walking away from the journey of the path of what has been. You may feel with this full moon a huge release with it happening in your 12th house, and you yourself having to take the step of leaving it all behind. It could feel like you're leaving something huge behind. You can be feeling really raw and vulnerable, but this is a huge portal of change and transition for you where it's good if it feels like a big unknown and you have to let go of something really big. Okay. So yeah, I love you, Saggies, very much. I hope that resonated. Very powerful for you guys. And now we're going to move to our Capricorns, to our Cappies. Okay, Cappies, you're having this full moon in Scorpio happen in your 11th house. And the 11th house deals with the future. It deals with our long-term dreams and wishes, our friends, group associations, technology. Okay. And what's interesting too is your planetary ruler, Saturn, he's within 3 degrees of Neptune. We're going to have to do a whole other video on that. So there's a huge theme of dissolving, letting go for the whole world, but for the Capricorns and Aquarians in particular, that's your planetary ruler. Saturn conjunct Neptune, and in an almost exact sextile to Uranus. We're going to be having exact Saturn sextile Uranus coming up soon. Saturn, your ruler, sextile Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, the 11th house where you're having this full moon is the house of Aquarius. This is all about moving forward into the future, being in your innovative mind, stepping out of normie land, stepping out of the matrix, which Capricorns, in astrology, you rule the matrix. And I've got my moon in Capricorn, shout out to all my fellow Capricorn placements, but it can be hardest for Capricorns to step out of the matrix. Okay. And if you are a Capricorn that stepped out of the matrix and you're awake, then you must have some other, very kind of conscious signs in your astrology. Because for Capricorn, it's very hard to step out of that. We like structure. We like systems. We like to know how things are going to go. And with this full moon in your 11th house, there's a change of plans. There's an invitation for you to get into a totally new perspective, to do things in a different and weird way, to let go of maybe people you've been surrounding yourself with in friends or group associations. Your long-term goals and dreams may be dying, okay? And there can be completely new ones being reborn with Saturn in sextile to Uranus. That's a theme for the whole collective, but in particular to you. So I'm hearing Spirit say, you are not a failure. Okay, this is for all of us, but for Capricorns in particular, you're so hard on yourself. And if something isn't successful, you can be so fucking hard on yourself. And I'm hearing Spirit say so strong, you are not a failure if something has not gone to plan that you put the work into. Okay, Capricorns, be open. You've just gone through Pluto in your sign for 15 years. You've gone through the biggest initiation of your life. I have chills all over my whole body. I'm just getting a message that many Capricorns may be feeling like hard on themselves or very disappointed about something that didn't go to plan. And that's actually amazing. That's actually really good. Emotionally, you're being invited with this full moon to let go of the upset, to let go of the grief, to let go of the pain, but everything is actually going according to plan. And you're being invited to do things in a different way. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do things in a different and a weird way. Okay, because you can. And you are very smart and you are very dedicated. So I hope that made sense. I just channeled something for you guys. I hope that made sense. But you are not a loser. You're Capricorn. You're the opposite of a loser. Okay. So if something has not been going to plan, there's something better. That Spirit's showing there's another door that you maybe don't see yet because we're not meant to have control of our whole lives, but it's coming forward. Okay. And have confidence in yourself and be open to doing things in a different and a weird way, different to the plans. You guys, another reverse card. So for the Capricorns, we've got the 6 of Wands reversed. Delays, setback in recognition, disappointment despite efforts. This is fucking crazy. This is exactly what I just said. Low confidence, possible enemies, jealousy from another. Look at who you're surrounding yourself with, Capricorns. Okay, you're the GOAT. You don't need any losers in your circle. If you know someone is jealous of you, or side note, or trying to put you down, or is an enemy, give them the boot. Okay, you do not need that. You guys are leaders. You guys are badasses. You do not need that. Assemble the team around you that is like you. You guys have very big jobs to do here. And you're not a loser if there's a delay or something has not gone to plan. It's about to come into plan. We're at very intense times astrologically, but we're in a huge portal of letting go and releasing what has not worked up until this point. So, okay, that was intense for the Capricorns. I hope that made sense. I love you guys. You are worthy. I am with my fellow Capricorn placements, okay? Love you guys. And now we're going to move to our Aquarians. Aquarians, you are having this full moon in Scorpio in your 10th house, which is the house of work, our public image, our long-term goals, older people in our lives, authority figures. For many Aquarians, this can be the release of, similar to what I just said for the Capricorns, long-term goals that haven't worked up until this point, jobs, what you're doing professionally. There can be a release of something having to do with a parent or older person in your life. Okay, but you're being empowered professionally with this full moon. We've got your ruler Uranus sextile Saturn. So there's successful seeds being planted in terms of work in your long-term goals by letting go of what no longer serves you. And with Uranus conjunct the sun, there can be very inspirational new ideas coming forward from your higher self, from your creativity at the time of this full moon. So this is empowering for you guys. And there may be some toxic work situations happening for some Aquarians, some maybe even like a toxic boss or even like a toxic parent. Some shadow work coming up around that. You're taking back your power. And I feel like you guys are seeing things very clearly. Pluto's in your sign. The dispositor of this full moon, Pluto, is in your sign. So you're like on a Plutonic, Scorpionic journey for the whole next 19 years. Very powerful transformations happening. And it's, focused around your work, your long-term goals. The card we've got for you, Nine of Cups reversed. So again, this theme, not getting what you wished for. Possible unrealistic dreams, lack of pleasure, overindulgence, arrogance. There might be, I feel like for many Aquarians, there's a weird ass boss or older person in your life that's making you feel like shit, possibly, that might be toxic. Okay, like that is not yours. If you've got that going on, that is not yours. Let that go. Put up protection. But also, like many of us are getting this message, work changes, life, societal structures changing to the work and our long-term goals changing, and some things have not gone to plan, and there may be grief or emotional release work around that. Okay, so again, Spirit is saying so strong. For all the signs, if something has not gone to plan, that was God's protection. That was the universe's protection. If you were meant to have done something by this point, it would have happened, and it hasn't happened. So it's fine. But there's that human level of being upset about that. And that's what part of this full moon in Scorpio is, letting go of that upset, stepping into the surrender, asking for a sign, asking for a clear sign, right? Asking for our ancestors to show up, asking for our guides, asking for our star family. And you will receive the support. You will receive the signs and synchronicities. That's also something beautiful with this full moon, asking for a sign, asking for a spiritual paranormal phenomena as a confirmation. We can have that with this full moon. Excuse me, you guys. We can definitely have that with this full moon. So I love you, Aquarians. Hope that resonated. And next we go to our Pisces. Pisces, magical Pisces. Okay, full moon in Scorpio happening in your 9th house. Okay, so some of you at the time of this full moon may be traveling in a different country, maybe studying, expanding your horizons. Okay, but this is a really good full moon of letting go of limiting or toxic beliefs or teachers or people that we consider a mentor or a teacher, but that actually you're complete with that, or maybe there's even something weird going on with that. Okay, that could be a theme. But major consciousness expansion happening, empowerment happening as well at the time of this full moon for you. We've got your traditional ruler Jupiter in square to the nodes. So it's becoming very apparent to you what is in alignment and what is not. You can be getting clarity that way. And also your traditional ruler Neptune coming into that very strong conjunction now with Granddaddy Saturn. Okay, they're within a 3-degree orb. Saturn's about to enter Aries on May 24th. I'll be doing a whole separate video on that soon on my channel. So I feel like Pisces, you're seeing things clearer than usual. Okay, you've always got one foot in this world, one foot in the spirit world, but with your ruler Neptune coming into a strong conjunction in Saturn, you're seeing the reality check about the harsh Saturnian reality check of things. In this case, it's a full moon in your 9th house. Foreign people, places, things, courses, higher learning, teachers, guides, religions, belief systems, legal matters as well. So I like this full moon for you for clarity. And I like that it's not happening in a really heavy house, but amazing for you to be expanding your consciousness and having a breakthrough in your own, it feels like, independence and freedom. Tarot card we've got for you is Temperance. I love this card in the Halloween deck. Check that out. Temperance. Temperance is about healing, balance, balancing opposing forces, empowerment. Maybe many Pisces are, finishing studying something, and maybe you're wanting to study a healing art. You guys are healers. That could be coming up, opportunities to step more into healing or teaching or taking a course, taking yourself seriously, taking your gifts seriously, and balance of opposing forces. Like I said, that's interesting. You guys have one foot in this world, one foot in the spirit world, and you're learning how to balance that, I feel like, with this full moon. So this is very beautiful, healing, and empowering for you guys. Okay, we've gone through all 12 signs and the whole collective for this full moon in Scorpio. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Sorry about my throat. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to fix the card view as well with this new system that we've got up here. So even though it's going to be freaking intense, some shocks, some surprises, some uncomfortable truths coming to the surface. This is what many of us have been waiting for. And from darkness, we step into the light. So I'm wishing you all the most magical and empowering full moon in Scorpio possible. Thank you guys so much for supporting my work. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you would like to. All my links are in the description box below for my readings, courses, workshops, upcoming retreat that my husband and I are going to be doing next month in Algonquin Park, Ontario, to celebrate the summer solstice. You can check out all my offerings at the link below. So I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all next time. Mwah!